Most of us have been on a trip or a journey, right? Think back of a time when you ran into a roadblock. Maybe it wasn't an actual roadblock, but it was a hurdle. Something that prevented you from moving forward at a good pace towards your final destination or your goal. Did you run out of gas? Or maybe the weather was not cooperating, it was raining outside, maybe you deviated off course and you forgot to follow your map or your GPS. Did you not prepare adequately? Did you not pay attention to your surroundings? Well, you know what? Sales is that way. And we all start off with the same goal, to close and to gain the commitment from the buyer. But things happen along the way. We hit roadblocks. We run into obstacles just when we think we're almost there. Most sales textbooks call these objections. The dictionary defines an objection as an expression or feeling of disapproval or opposition, a reason for disagreeing. I see them as opportunities to solve buyers' problems. I like to think of objections as falling into two categories: the uncontrollables and the controllables. Sometimes objections can be prevented and sometimes they can't, just because unexpected things happen with the buyer that you can't control. For example, I don't have a budget left. Emergency situations have come up and I can't focus my time on this issue right now. We are going through a merger or an acquisition, or we're making changes to our organizational structure and the decision-making process is changing. As a salesperson, you don't have control over these things. It's possible that you can assist by offering options, but you may have to accept the fact that it may not be the right time for the buyer to buy from you. What do? Do you leave the door open so you can come back when it is the right time? Of course. Now, before discussing how to overcome a controllable objection, let me start off by asking you a question. In the sales process, whose goals are you pursuing? Yours or the buyer's? In my experience, this is one of the main reasons, if not the most common reason, why a salesperson doesn't close a sale. We tend to focus on the reasons why the buyer doesn't agree with our proposal, as opposed to really focusing on solving that buyer's problem. 9 times out of 10, we run into a hurdle because we haven't taken the time to really listen to the buyer, to clearly assess the buyer's situation and then validate our understanding of it. So here are some guidelines I'd like to propose to you while in the objection handling process. First, be clear on the buyer's issues. If you don't understand, circle back and ask questions until you do. Secondly, be clear on the objective of the sales call. It's not always about closing during that call. It could be about introducing the buyer to a product or to your company, or just getting to know them. Third, be aware of the buying signals, both verbal and nonverbal. There are times when the buyer's ready before we ask for the sale, but we just keep going. And this is discouraging to the buyer. It bores them. They want to get to the end result. Remain upbeat and positive is our fourth guideline. Smile throughout the objection handling process. This is an opportunity. Most successful people always smile. 5. Get many commitments along the way. Paraphrase your understanding of the issues and doubts and continuously confirm them using trial close questions. Number 6, be confident but humble. Accept that the buyer won't always agree with you. And lastly, focus on the solution and less on the close. Always look for ways to help the buyer. Now, I'm a firm believer of always being proactive versus reactive. And if we were to just spend more time up front, really understanding the issues, we would be in a much better position to respond to the doubts and fears of the buyer. To the salesperson, the objection is a hurdle, but to the buyer, it's a risk. The salesperson has an opportunity to minimize that risk.